doing, Jack? Okay, whatever. Make sure it's working here. Oh, I got this right up in the view. Can't ever get this in the right spot. Okay. Anything bothering anybody today? Hips, knees, back? All right, well, we'll start off actually with legs in front today, so you can have knees slightly bent. We're gonna close our eyes and take a few breaths here to get started. If you wanna wrap your arms around your knees, you can. Just letting those shoulders drop a little bit with each exhale. Remember, this is the time you can set any goals for yourself that you have today. So if you have something that you want to pay extra special attention to, make sure you're bringing that forward in your mind. Or if you're just trying to escape all the busyness, try to leave all of that off the floor and focus on you for this time. Few more breaths. Take a big breath in as you exhale. We're going to loop those hands around. You can place them behind you. We're just going to swipe the knees side to side a few times. Just warming up through those hips and your low back. This time as you swipe over, just go ahead and drop both of those knees down. We're going to keep a hand behind us, other hand on top of the thighs, and twist to face all the way behind you. Breathing deeply through that belly, allowing that waist to stretch. We're going to inhale. Let's move through the center. You can drop your knees off on the other side. Same thing, hand on top of the knees. Returning the face away from the feet. One more breath in. Exhale, you can turn back to the front. We're going to take those feet. You can fold them in for a second. Let's sit up nice and tall, just working into the neck. So you can drop your chin to your chest. And while you're there, if you'd like, you can rotate the chin slightly from one collarbone to the other. Okay, come back to the center. We're going to inhale with the chin. From here, you're going to press the chin back. So give yourself a bit of a double chin. Pull that head back. Give it a few breaths. Big breath in. Exhale, relax that head. You can drop the ear, shoulder to shoulder. This time, drop your ear to one shoulder, but keep your head turned over. And then from there, turn your chin so that it's pointing in the direction of your shoulder. Hold there for a moment. And then keeping the head tipped, you can turn the chin slightly toward the ceiling. And again, down to the shoulder. And up toward the ceiling. Return that chin to neutral. We're going to send the ear over the other shoulder. Again, holding for a second. And then drop your chin toward your shoulder, rotating that head slightly. And then lift toward the ceiling. And again, turning the chin toward the shoulder. And turning toward the ceiling. Very good. All right, bring that head back to neutral. We're going to walk the fingertips forward and just fold over those feet. Kind of relax through your upper body. Let those elbows fall kind of heavy. And inhale, come on up. And then reach both hands up overhead. Big stretch up and back. Couple of breaths. Or a couple yawns or whatever. And drop one hand down, little bend to the side. And we'll inhale, reach those hands up toward the ceiling. Take a couple of breaths. And we'll exhale, bring that hand down to the lap, and then reach it on over. All right, let's drop that arm down. We're going to go ahead forward onto hands and knees. Turn a little sideways here. So onto hands and knees. You can curl your toes under and reach your hands a little further in front of you. We're just going to saw the body forward and back. So keep those hips lifted. I'm just moving the weight a little to warm up through the shoulders and wrists, knees, hips, and toes. And move as far as you'd like. If there's any areas that are sticky or that are painful to move through, you can just kind of touch that area and then move away from it. You don't have to sit all the way back or move all the way forward if it's not comfortable. Pausing where you need to. Okay, and this time as we move forward, we're going to go ahead and settle the hips and chest down to the mat. We're going to bring the elbows, forearms in, so elbows underneath the shoulders, and just going into the slight back bend. Remember, try not to shrug the shoulders up to the ears, see if you can push up and away from the floor. Big breaths in through your belly. You're going to go ahead and lower the chest toward the mat. Bring those hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to push up and stay on the knees. Just keep the hips tucked. Take a few breaths. This is just a high plank on your knees. Trying to tighten through that lower belly. So we're actually tucking the tailbone, tucking your hips under, tightening through your glutes just a little bit. Keeping those shoulders down from the ears. And then we're going to move the weight back. Let's send the knees out wide. Bring the big toes together and extend it on back. So stretching out through the shoulders. Trying to inch those hands away from your shoulders. If you need an extra stretch, if you need to open up some more through your upper body. Two more breaths here. All right, we're going to come up and out of that shape. Bring those hands in just a little bit. Pull the knees in. We're going to go into a high plank, this time on the feet. So we're going to curl those toes under. We're picking those knees up off of the mat, so we're keeping a straight line from our shoulders, down past our hips, into our heels. Tucking those hips under. Two more big breaths. And on that second exhale, we're going to bend one knee, bring it up toward the front of the mat, and we're going to end up in a pigeon. So one leg in front and cross over. And your back leg can either stay nice and straight, or if you need to bend it, that's okay too. First thing we're doing is just sitting up nice and tall. So planting those hands down. And let those hips settle down into that shape. Adjusting where you need to. If it feels okay, you can start to fold the body forward, just stretching those hands further out in front of you, or you can settle all the way down over that front leg if you'd like. Deep breaths here. Stay here longer, you're welcome to. Otherwise, take your time. You're gently pushing up away from the floor. Planting those hands down. We're going to be moving back into a plank. So when you're ready, you're going to extend that leg back. We're going to curl those toes under, pick the knees up. Remember, we're actively squeezing those glutes, so tucking your tailbone under, trying to keep those shoulders down from the ears. One more big breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to start bending that opposite knee, bringing it up toward the front of the mat. We're going to settle on down into a pigeon. The same thing, back leg can either be straight or you can bend it slightly. The first thing we're worried about is sitting up nice and tall. Just allowing those hips to sink. And as you feel comfortable, you can start to walk the hands forward, stretching down over that front thigh. And just kind of feel it out. If you have sticky points, you can hang out there for a sec before you continue down. Just 2 more deep breaths. All right, and we're going to very gently walk the body up away from that thigh. Plant those hands down. Take your time sending the leg back. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. So curl the toes under. You can either keep the hips down, or if you're ready to pull the knees up off the mat, go ahead and lift those hips as high as you can. Press that weight back, sink through the heels. One more breath in. And exhale, you can walk the feet forward or walk the hands back. Nice and relaxed through those knees. Go ahead and bring the knees forward, hips forward, and you can stand on them. Very good. Just a few breaths here. Make sure the blood's all in the right spots. Try to evenly distribute your weight between your feet. So toes are all spread. Feet are shoulder width wide. Through the chest. We'll turn back toward the front. Inhale again. Reaching all the way up. Reaching. Reaching all the way up. Reaching those hands back, turning to the side and exhaling. We're keeping those arms as separated as we can. One more time to both sides. Big breath in, stretching those arms back. Turning off to the side, big exhale. And then once more, inhale, pull those arms up. Turning off to the side, and big exhale as you circle those arms. Very good. All right, we're going to soften the knees, send the hips back. Just reach those hands toward the floor, and you can hang here for a moment. Remember, if the low back is bugging you, maybe place your hands on your thighs and don't reach your spine all the way down. A few more breaths. If you need some extra weight through the shoulders, you can fold the forearms. When you're ready, let's inhale, knees forward, hips forward. Bring the body all the way on up. We're going to walk it up towards the front of the mat. So keeping the shoulder width of space between the feet, let's send the leg back, nice and long. So tucking those hips under slightly, try to keep your chest up nice and tall. We're going to move the weight forward so that your knee is kind of over your heel, over your ankle. And then inhale, bring those arms up. And keep those shoulders down from the ears. So if you need to, you can shrug up for a sec and then drop those shoulders down. So keeping the arms extended. Keeping those hips tucked so you can get a good stretching through the front of your back hip. 2 more breaths. Take your time on that second exhale. You can relax the arms. Go ahead and bounce that leg forward. We're going to repeat on the other side. So sending the other leg back. Starting off with hips tucked under, body up nice and tall. We're going to move the weight forward. Trying to actively keep those hips tucked. We're reaching those hands up. And same thing, if you feel like you're choking on your shoulders, try to drop those shoulders down while keeping your arms lifted. One more breath in. Exhale, you can relax those arms, reach that leg forward. You can soften through the knees, send the hips back, and reach the hands down. Give it 2 deep breaths. We're going to bring the hands in to attach to the legs. Just slide up to where you're just above the knees. We're going to flatten out the back, so we're lifting through the chest a little bit here. Still kind of looking down toward the floor, and we're tucking those shoulders down, tucking the elbows in. Here, 2 deep breaths. Last time, big breath in. We're going to exhale. Last time, reaching down toward the mat. When you're ready, we're going to bring the body up to standing again. Knees forward, hips forward, and body up nice and tall. So for our last pose, if you're not comfortable with standing on one foot on your mat, just back up toward the wall. Otherwise, we're going to start by shifting the weight over to one foot and bringing the opposite foot in. So just making that base smaller. And then if you get comfortable, you can lift that foot up off of the floor onto the ankle. And pick one spot on the floor that helps a little bit, or on the wall. Helps with keeping your balance. If you're more comfortable, you can start to work that foot up the side of your leg. Trying to actively push the toes of your forefoot into the ground. Helps a little bit with balance. And if you can, we're going to bring those hands together at the chest. Try to lift your chest into your hands. If you got to keep a hand on the wall, you can just lift one hand, or lift your chest in one hand. Lift kind of forward. Have 2 more breaths here. Okay, good. So take your time. When you're ready, we're going to be repeating on the other side. So you'll lower that leg. And then we're going to start with the same steps. So you'll start by spreading out the toes of your other foot. We're bringing that foot in nice and close. So we're making our base smaller. Another thing you can try is bending the knee of the leg you're standing on. We're going to pull that foot up on top of the opposite ankle if you have this leg stability. And then you'll just work up wherever is comfortable for you, but just try to keep your eyes on one fixed point in the room. Like gazing far away. And the same thing, we're bringing those palms together at the chest, or just bringing one palm up, using it as a guide, lifting your sternum into your thumbs. One more breath in. And when you're satisfied here, you can drop that leg down, remove those hands, Shake the cramps out of your feet if you need to. We're gonna go ahead and lay on down on the mat. So we're at our last few minutes here. Remember, you can find a position that's comfortable on your belly, on your back, or you can stay seated. We're gonna close our eyes and just breathe for these last few minutes. You can lay here for one more moment if you'd like. As you're done for today, you can wiggle around and sit on up when you're finished. Okay, how's everybody feeling? Good. We made it through. All right, thank y'all for coming. Awesome. Be back on Monday.